Hello everyone, Calina of StoryRetold, continuing with Arglefumph's Nancy Drew Everything Wrong with Nancy Drew Games series that he has on his YouTube channel. So check those out. The link to that playlist is in the description below. And I have not seen this video. This is for Everything Wrong with Nancy Drew Curse of Blackmoor Manor, and it's a long one. Well, 23 minutes, so let's, I'm kind of afraid. Oh my goodness, that is loud. Okay, I was not expecting that. Let's turn that down. Yeah, spoilers.
Dear Ned, greetings from jolly old England.
Nancy writes this letter to Ned while arriving at Blackmoor, but when you call him, he already knows the letter's contents.
Okay, good point.
Either Ned is psychic, or mail delivery in England is way faster than I thought it was. This
Oh my
newspaper
goodness,
article
this is
says
new.
that the bride stood on her head for the wedding, while...
Wait, what? What? One such custom had the bride standing on her head while the groom did cartwheels around the aisle? Down the aisle? The ceremony concluded with a toast with empty glasses? What? Oh my goodness, I've never seen that before. I've never read that headline, but usually those articles that flash by real fast, the art team would generally throw in weird and random stuff.
while wearing a floor-length two-piece satin gown with a train. That's not a practical dress to wear if you're going to be doing headstands.
No.
Linda's hair is in perfect condition after doing a long headstand.
Are you sure that was taken after the handstand or before?
Night, miss. Good luck.
Nancy's luggage is nowhere to be seen in this opening scene.
Oh well.
The hand cursor here on the door knocker tricked me into thinking I have to click in order to proceed.
Well.
Nancy stands in place for a few seconds instead of immediately turning around when somebody growls her name.
Slow animation.
It's pretty out of character for Nancy to shriek in terror at a scary noise.
Over there! I mean, something was out there.
Nancy only looks at this one area instead of turning around fully and looking everywhere.
She's obeying her
Culprits, take
command.
note. You can easily elude capture by standing behind Nancy's right shoulder.
Hi, you must be Nancy. I'm so pleased you're here. I'm Jane. I know you.
How did Jane do the scary voice and the growl?
That is a good question. Maybe there was still one more device that we had not yet seen? A voice distortion device of some sort?
The door is open and Mrs. Drake is clearly looking outside at the same time the glowing eyes are there, but she doesn't notice them.
No, she's
Nancy is looking
not
in this
quite.
direction when Mrs. Drake opens the door, but Mrs. Drake still has to ask where she's looking.
Where, child? Oh, people are always seeing and hearing things on the moor at night, especially you Americans.
Mrs. Drake is a jerk.
Yeah, she is.
What is Mrs. Drake looking at in this scene?
I know.
Mrs. Drake's flailing hands.
And a delicious dog's eye, me fork and knife, just rubber-ducked. Hello?
Could you repeat that?
Sure, we've got some loop-de-loop bangers and mash.
It's obvious Nancy doesn't understand what Tommy is saying, but he keeps using Cockney slang anyway.
She asks him to repeat that. She doesn't say she doesn't understand it.
Tommy is a jerk. Alarm clock reused from previous games.
Nothing wrong with that.
Nancy's mom jeans.
Yeah.
This
Yeah.
staircase leads to nowhere.
It leads to a puzzle.
The stairs give out 8 sounds, but there are clearly more than 8 steps here.
Well, I mean, she could be missing a few steps. You know, every other step or something. It doesn't have to be every single step.
Nancy must be taking the staircase 5 steps at a time.
Yeah, some people do.
Linda? Hi, it's me, Nancy Drew.
Game saves on animation by never showing Linda.
That's true.
Linda's room has pictures of her husband and his ex-wife.
I don't think that's his ex-wife. I think that's Linda.
Why would she decorate with those?
That's Linda.
All 3 pictures of Hugh look like different people.
Okay, if you think so.
Linda is deliberately vague and sinister instead of being upfront with Nancy and telling her the truth right from the start.
It's kind of absurd to admit that you think you're turning into a werewolf.
I guess being a jerk is one of the symptoms of lycanthropic metamorphosis. The cursor automatically repositions to the center of the text box after every bit of dialogue.
Huh, yeah.
Players are forced to constantly move the mouse aside to stop it from covering up the subtitles.
Now if...
Mummy, can I come in?
No. You're supposed to be in your lessons.
Lessons are over. I want to meet Nancy.
I said no, Jane.
Okay.
Linda is a jerk.
Yeah, she is.
Seriously, everybody at Blackmoor Manor is a jerk.
Jane
this game
isn't.
should be called Curse of Blackmoor's Manor.
Especially you Americans.
Why is everything in this room covered up?
Well, it could be recently moving into that space, dust. It covers dust.
Where does Hugh stay when he's here? This room clearly isn't lived in.
Well, yeah, Hugh is off business tripping, and so he hasn't kind of made himself at home yet.
Nancy's room is nicer than Linda's. Why isn't Linda living there?
Because Linda's got a nice four-poster bed that has curtains.
Jane's books disappear whenever you talk to her. Jane's head is disproportionately larger than the rest of her body.
Well, if you look, she's sitting up, and so if she was lying down, there would have been a more considerable space between her face and the book.
Jane's knees are here, but she's pressing down the bed here.
You can come in anytime you want, even if I'm not here.
Game tricks you into thinking you can explore Jane's room when she's not there.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
I totally love that show. Isn't Brady Armstrong so dreamy? Total hottie.
Brady Armstrong is a horrible monster who tried to have me killed via wrecking ball, and I am still traumatized by that experience, Jane.
But don't crush her hopes and dreams. She's still a fan. You don't need to rain on her parade.
You had a guinea pig?
Yes, but it died.
When?
I don't know. I'd really rather not think about it, all right?
If you don't want to think about your pet, why do you have a picture of it? Jane's lessons start at 6 a.m. It takes Jane a whole month to do 20 pages of a workbook.
20 pages? Oh.
To be able to check off the look around Jane's room task, you have to ask her about every single member of her family tree.
Really?
That takes forever.
It does.
Who was Nicolina?
She died when she was a baby.
Age 53 is not a baby.
Somebody didn't math that correct. 53. No. Oh, yeah, no, that's right. That's a error.
Jane's parrot food area contains foods that are poisonous to parrots.
Oh, so you can make a snack for yourself.
The parrot cake looks like this no matter what ingredients you use.
That's right.
That was written by Charles Pemberlin way back in like the 1500s.
This puzzle was built with 1500s technology.
Yeah. People were intelligent enough to makeshift ways to make things work.
All of the puzzles that were built hundreds of years ago are still in perfect working condition.
The lady in black you saw in Linda's room. Did she look like anyone you know?
Like I said before, I couldn't really see her face, but she was kind of dressed like the lady in the Great Hall.
There are over 10 pictures in the Great Hall, Jane. You have to be more specific.
Oh, you startled me. You must be Nancy. I'm Jane's tutor, Ethel.
Ethel scares me.
She scared everybody. But if you know what the logic flags are that triggers her appearing, you might not be so startled.
Yes, well.
Instead of stepping aside like a normal person would, Nancy stands in place in the doorway, forcing Ethel to turn sideways and slide past her.
This phone number just might come in handy.
Just like Danger on Deception Island, this game has a Russian expert who left their phone number in a textbook.
Same actress, too. She worked for Her Interactive.
Oh, it's just a parrot.
Lulu is annoying.
Yeah, she is.
Lulu talks without moving her mouth.
Pay no attention to the bird behind the curtain.
Lulu says this when she's not behind a curtain.
So?
Viste rogavit, bene vidi vici, semper ubi.
Who taught the parrot Latin and...
The grandfather, remember?
Why?
When I asked her about it, Jane said her grandfather gave it to her. And then
what?
And then she changed the subject.
Nancy's heavy-handed dramatic cliffhanger. Here's the wall for Pendlins who weren't important enough to get their own portraits.
Yeah.
The conservatory is well lit by the sun, considering that it's in the basement.
You count it
The
lit?
conservatory is equally well lit at all hours of the day. Mrs.
Yeah.
Drake has hay fever, but spends all of her time in the conservatory.
Yeah, I know people who like dogs and cats, but still have dogs and cats. Isn't that
Mrs.
great?
Drake stands in place and does nothing while Nancy is eaten alive.
She's a jerk.
How did Nancy get that far deep into the plant? Did she dive in head first or something?
All settled in?
Oh,
Good. I'm
goodness.
happy that you're visiting Linda, but I know how much you teenagers like your televisions and loud stereos, so I must insist that you act respectfully and civilly while you stay with us.
Mrs. Drake preemptively scolds Nancy for watching TV when there is no TV in Blackmoor.
Well, yeah, she has preconceived notions of how loud teenagers are, and those were some of the examples. So thankfully, yeah, setting a noise example that a teenager can understand, given to Nancy so that she doesn't make the same mistakes she's hoping to avoid.
There are also no bathrooms in Blackmoor Manor.
I know,
Where
that's
do people
weird.
go to the bathroom?
And please do not get any ideas about going outside to investigate. I do not want you tracking mud all over this house.
There is no mud outside.
Unless it's gonna be raining soon.
You may have the run of the house, but do not break anything, and refrain from mucking about with items that aren't yours.
Nancy follows Mrs. Drake's orders to stay inside, but she totally ignores Mrs. Drake's orders not to mess with stuff.
I know, that is such a classic Nancy thing. She still investigates anyways.
Lady Penvelin was a rather vocal critic of Cromwell's policies, and helped many of his enemies.
Nigel is painfully boring.
I know.
Nigel's typing.
Dead languages aren't really my bag, you know.
I'll let you get back to your work.
Ballet!
Nigel insults dead languages, then responds in Latin.
They asked the mistress of Blackmoor Manor, Eleanor Penvelin, to put a bounty on the beast's head. But, oddly enough, she not only refused, she forbade anyone from hunting the creature. It was...
Why did Eleanor forbid people from hunting the Blackmoor beast? That was never explained.
Yeah, you're right. It wasn't really explained, but I can have a few ideas. If Eleanor doesn't want people just to be hanging around her place, so she wants them to leave it, whatever it is that they saw, leave it alone.
How do you get to the second floor of the library?
I know, right? I really wanted that too. I mean, there's got to be a ladder or a second door someplace that's missing. I really wanted to explore that.
I doubt you'll find much of interest in there. They're mainly law books. Charles Penvelin was a prominent judge in the 16th century.
Absolutely no effort is being made to preserve these old books that predate the founding of the United States of America.
Do you mind if I use this computer?
No, not at all. But it's very old.
Nobody's gotten rid of Alan's computer in the past 10 years, even though it's old and only does one thing.
That must be the food I ordered.
Nancy says this every time. Like, duh, of course it's the food you ordered.
Yeah.
No matter what meal Nancy orders, they always give her too much butter.
Or Nancy just is not a big fan of eating butter.
Nancy jams butter into this keyhole without getting any butter on the outside of the keyhole.
I know. That's something you would typically expect from that kind of action, huh?
The tiles change color when Nancy zooms in on them. As soon as you solve the puzzle, the tile layout changes back to its original configuration.
Ooh, good point.
Conveniently, Jane doesn't try to leave her room when Nancy solves this puzzle.
Because she's in her lessons. Or at least some of the time she's in her lessons.
Are you sure you didn't inadvertently say something, argumentative?
I promise you, these rages of hers are totally uncalled for.
What did he say in their fight at the start of the game?
It's not all in my head. Don't bother.
Sounds pretty argumentative to me.
I agree.
Oh, Susanna, don't you cry for me.
Shorty singing.
I know.
this clock work? You have to retype the password every time you use the computer. Some ghosts are visible from multiple angles, while others are only visible from one angle. Why?
Art
One
angle.
of the few people who have seen the 13 ghosts of Blackmoor Manor.
The computer reads every single line of dialogue out loud, except this one. Mrs. Drake's crazy overreaction when Nancy wakes her up.
I know.
Maybe I'd better have a look around.
Game tells you to go explore when there's nothing for Nancy to find.
Brigitte with her eyes so bright.
Brigitte with her eyes so...
Jane starts singing, but Ethel interrupts.
Depends
Ethel
on-
is a jerk.
I'm hungrier than I thought.
Nancy says as she puts half of the turkey away for her not to eat.
No,
Nancy
no.
could easily push the plant away, but no, we turn this into a plant feeding puzzle.
I know, silly,
Nancy?
right?
I can't believe you're still here. I thought for sure that... Maybe you can help me.
Linda's impressed that Nancy can stay overnight. Linda...
No. She thought the cursed, or whatever it is that she just read, wasn't gonna scare her away. Not that she's staying the night.
has low standards.
One day after Hugh left for Rome, I inadvertently discovered a secret passageway. I started to explore it. And pretty soon, I found this really old-looking message etched into the wall. When I read it, I realized it was some kind of ancient curse. I tried to laugh it off, but it was kind of unnerving. So I went back to my room and found a note on my nightstand. And on it was written the exact same curse.
Linda says she saw the curse, went back to her room, and saw the curse again.
Yeah?
Unless there's a time gap somewhere, this means Jane had the curse written out in advance, just in case Linda accidentally discovered the hidden passageway.
Yeah.
Stupid gargoyle. I hated how its evil eyes would stare at me whenever I walked to my room. So I moved it around, changed its position, kept fiddling with it.
Linda solved a 7-step puzzle by accident.
Yeah.
Linda solved the puzzle through random guessing, but Nancy isn't allowed to guess the solution.
Yeah.
She has to solve a puzzle first.
Yeah.
I'll see you soon.
I hope so.
Linda says she hopes to see you soon, but the next time you talk to her, she refuses to say anything. Bull.
So Linda has hope, but she's not sure how to divulge the information she has.
Reused from Game 6.
Yeah, I
Okay.
know.
I found the secret passageway in the East Hall.
There's an East Hall, but no corresponding West Hall.
They're in the West Hall.
This isn't a hall, this is a room. Why are
Yeah.
there eyeballs in Jane's game collection?
Creepiness. Adds a creep factor.
Why can't Nancy reach over and punch the target? It's not that far away from her. The burping dragon. Nancy uncovers a secret passageway cliche.
I like cliches.
Nancy is forced to solve the dragon and gargoyle puzzles every time she enters the hidden passageways.
Yeah.
But with all of the other puzzles, she only has to solve them once.
Yeah, it's not fair.
Jane says she wants to play a game with Nancy, but she makes Nancy play single-player games like the Jigsaw Puzzle and Petroglyph Punch. How did
Beating her time, right?
Nancy know to pull the eyeball picture open to reveal a puzzle underneath? I would never have guessed to stick my fingers in the eyeball hole.
I would have just felt around it to see if it would react.
Nancy needs Lulu to solve this puzzle.
Yes.
What's going to happen when Lulu dies in the next 20 years? The puzzle will be unsolvable and no one will be able to find the family treasure.
Yeah, hopefully Nancy divulges the answers to Jane so that they can take notes of it later.
I don't feel so good. Oh boy.
Nancy, what did you do?
Jane just happens to appear right when Lulu dies.
Mm-hmm.
There should be a space in between Nancy and what?
Oops.
It's Lulu. I'm afraid I bet it's something I shouldn't have.
That's not how normal people talk.
I'll bet that's the gargoyle Linda.
There are 2 other gargoyles in the manor, Nancy. Why are you so sure about this one?
Because Linda said she mentioned the hall, I think, when she was fiddling around with it.
First, we should see how fast you type.
Nancy does everyone else's chores cliche.
Yeah.
Nigel's typing challenge.
Yeah.
Nigel types like a maniac, but he thinks his typing is so slow, he needs somebody else to type for him.
He just needs help, I guess.
These are the most boring memoirs I've ever read in my life.
Nancy says, while looking at a page that involves being teleported to Shadow Ranch.
Whoa! Suddenly, I was transported to the southwest United States. Not teleported, it's transported. I was on the case of a phantom horse. It was a strange moment and one that will live with me forever. For the birthday party, I gave John a wind-up buzzing bee, which frightened his youngest sister. Transported. That's not teleported.
Typing sound effects keep going after Nancy stops typing. That last sentence.
I mean, she could be hitting Control S, keyboard shortcuts to save the work.
Doesn't have a question mark.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Nigel writes that he's digging up dirt on the family and leaves this information on an open computer that anyone can access. Nigel is awful at keeping secrets.
Unless he well, I guess he does leave it around, doesn't he?
The Great Hall lights change when Nancy steps into the scene. That's not what they were chanting on the first night of the game.
Could have been a different chant. Sounds Latin to me, like they were saying it in Latin.
During this scene, all of the pillars are knights.
That was a little creepy.
That was major creepy. The lights turn on the second Jane's door shuts. How does that work? Are these door-activated lights? Where did Ethel go after this? She clearly doesn't leave through the front door, and she's not in the hallways. Is she hiding in Jane's room?
That's a good question. We don't know where Ethel resides. Isn't that creepy?
It's amazing how no one else notices the oily drain in the center of the Great Hall. Linda's furry hand.
Yeah.
Why is Linda surprised to see that her face is furry? Shouldn't she already know that?
It could be, she could be reacting to further hair growth.
According to this plaque, the curse is undone if you solve the runes puzzle. Why doesn't Nancy tell Linda about this?
Yeah. Why not? That would have, comforted her.
It's a hassle to have to redo Jane's game just to get another glow stick.
Yeah, I know.
Nigel talks when you move the statue, even if you move it at night when he's not there. This puzzle! It's just random guessing, and it takes you minutes to go back to the library to check to see if the eyes are in the right spot.
Yeah.
Wow, looks like I won't be needing any more of Jane's glow sticks.
Nancy has no problems using this creepy glowing rock.
I'm supposed to press
Isn't that nice? She's got a solution for continuous light.
the button under the blue triangles I want to move, then press the one under the group.
It's amazing how Nancy deduces all of the puzzle's rules just by looking at the door.
Yes, Nancy is really smart, and she needs to convey that to the player so the player can figure out what to do when there's no instructions present.
Oh my gosh, the room is moving!
This puzzle. This puzzle.
I know. They're great puzzles, I think, because it teaches you alchemy.
Weird symbols. Maybe knowing what that snake symbol means.
The game forces you to solve the spinning rooms puzzle, see the snake symbol on the door, then immediately turn around and solve the puzzle in reverse.
Yeah.
Ethel creepily appears out of nowhere.
I think it's awesome.
This puzzle. The solution is random each time, so it's just guessing. There's no strategy, and I failed 50 times in a row, and I don't like it.
Have you seen? The well is filled up again. It's very curious.
Mrs. Drake is not the least bit curious as to how the well was filled. This puzzle.
I know.
It's amazing how all these entries read like they were written by a modern person, not by someone living in pre-Shakespearean times.
Yeah. Maybe the writing team didn't find it beneficial to write in that style?
He has encouraged Jane to come up with a puzzle to help ensure its safekeeping, just as initiates have been doing for centuries.
It's neat how every Penvillain gets to make up their own puzzle, but it's totally unfair that Nancy has 20 puzzles to solve when Charles only had one because he was born first. How does Nancy get perfect cell phone reception down here? Why are the four...
I mean, if you take your phone someplace, or if you're in a place with good cell phone reception, yeah, and you look up something, you could open up the last page that you had researched and opened up. You couldn't go forward to any new pages.
Forge and slide areas well lit when all of the other passageways are dark. All the centuries-old passageways are completely dust-free. Who's been cleaning them? This puzzle.
Yeah, it's hard.
Because this puzzle is randomized, it's possible for you to die before you even make your first move.
That's true.
That's the thing. It looks like it has been used recently. I mean, relatively recently. Certainly within the past 50 years or so.
Nancy's oddly specific time frame. This puzzle.
No, it's a great puzzle.
Nancy manipulates all sides of the box except the bottom.
What
Maybe
do
it's
the columns in the
irrelevant.
Great Wall have to do with Linda?
I'm not sure about that either.
I do hope you won't allow yourself to get distracted.
Hugh's right.
I know.
Halfway through the game, Nancy totally forgets about Linda and focuses on the puzzle solving.
Yeah.
Nancy solves a scavenger hunt to find treasure cliche.
I
Let's
know.
see how quick your reflexes are. I'll time you.
How does solving a jigsaw puzzle test your reflexes?
Hand-eye
The
coordination?
jigsaw puzzle picture is just plain weird.
Yes.
This puzzle.
Yeah.
Mercury's all covered up.
Nancy should still be able to move the statue after Nigel puts a cloth on it.
That would be hilarious.
This wand probably works through magnets.
Gee, really? I thought it was real magic! No, seriously, how does touching 3 magnets result in Nancy lighting the forge? Do magnets work like that?
Huh. Looks like Nigel forgot his laptop.
Nigel forgets to take his laptop with him when he leaves Blackmoor forever.
Good point.
Who is that?
There is no way the culprit left the hallway that quickly unless they jumped down the stairs.
She could have snuck in to Linda's room. Yeah. I got people messaging me.
Interesting.
There's no way that Mrs. Drake left the hallway that quickly unless she jumped down the stairs.
Unless she went into her own room.
How do people disappear so quickly in this game? We can't talk to Linda about the charm that Mrs. Drake put on her door.
That's too
This
bad,
looks
I
like
know.
it came from a wolf.
Where did Jane get a wolf tooth?
Probably a souvenir from one of her travels.
The key disappears from the lock when Nancy turns it. How did Jane get through the revolving door puzzle without the map?
I'm
Good
the pendulum, not
question.
you. Besides, I would have found it before you did if I didn't have to sit there all day learning all that other silly rubbish.
Jane complains that she couldn't solve the puzzles because she has lessons, but after her lessons are over, she just lays on her bed and doesn't attempt to puzzle solve. No one noticed the giant box hanging from the ceiling until just now.
She also slipped Mrs. Drake's allergy pills into Linda's food so she'd feel woozy all the time.
Jane isn't punished for poisoning her stepmother using non-prescribed pills.
That we know.
She made poor Linda think she was turning into a monster by putting her uncle's hair restorer in Linda's moisturizer.
Good explanation, Nancy, but you still haven't told us why Linda has such long fingernails.
She hasn't clipped him yet.
Hugh has become fascinated with his family history and has ordered Ethel to teach him what she's taught Jane.
None of Ethel's lessons helped Jane discover anything.
No.
Where did Nancy get these photos from? Did Ethel and Jane reenact their creepy ritual so Nancy could get some candid shots?
If
Maybe.
he calls me one more time, I'm telling on him.
How did Nigel get Nancy's phone number?
Good question.
Her name? Nancy Drew.
Announcer pauses here for the dramatic reveal that Nancy Drew is in a Nancy Drew game. The next game in the series is Secret of the Old Clock, not The Secret of the Old Clock.
I guess
This
it was
game
changed.
also has title confusion. The cover says Curse of Blackmoor Manor, the subtitles have The Curse capitalized,
Oh,
and the
yeah.
title screen has The Curse in lowercase. It's like they didn't know which title to go with, so they used every variation they could think of just to cover all the bases. Speaking of the cover, who is the woman on the cover?
Yeah.
There's no one in a red robe in this game.
It's not red, it's brown. But I had the exact same question, and I asked the design team, and they were very elusive to the answer. I could have two answers here for you. One, the same artist who did all of the Nancy Drew cover arts just did this stylistically, with that person representing the person with the black cape who appears in the hallways. Just stylistic. The other answer is that it could actually have been like Eleanor, who is known as the fairy baby or whatever. But that's my suspicion. I think she's supposed to represent either Bridget or Eleanor, but I'm not entirely sure.
The music director is listed as Kevin Manthe, comma, no one else. Why is there a comma after his name?
Yeah,
Nancy
I don't know.
resets all of the puzzles so Hugh can solve them. How does she reset them?
Yeah, that's a
she
good
has to
question.
drain the well, stop mid-slide to reset the mechanism, get metal for the forge, and a number of other difficult tasks.
Oh, goodness, it's so loud. 172. Oh, that is a bad sentence. I didn't like the DVD game. I'm awful. Oh, no. No. Yeah, I know. Okay. Okay, well, thanks for watching, all. That had some cringe moments and some legit bugs that I saw. So, yeah. And also, the library. Totally agree about that. Should have been able to look up there. Or at least see a way to get up there. So,
Good grammar and spell.
Ads. Anyways, keep an eye out for the next video. And be sure to follow follow Arglefumph and watch the rest of his videos in his playlist in the link down below. So, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.